Can everybody hear me? Good. Right, okay. Right, I was diagnosed with CLL just over 2 years ago. Went for a routine health check with a GP, came back with a high white cell count, did the test a few weeks later, still high, another test, still high. Sent for the hospital to haematology and further tests. Went back a few weeks later, walked in, I saw a booklet on his desk with leukemia. He turned it over as I walked in. So I knew I got leukemia before I was officially told. So that was the start of my journey. I'll come back to that later because I think you need to find out a bit about my background to know where I am today. In my 30s, I had to have a hysterectomy due to it going to cancer. 10 years ago, I was taken ill in Holland because we've got Dutch friends with a brain tumour. I nearly died. My husband was with me, he's here today. Apparently followed an ambulance doing 105 miles an hour to get me to hospital. Had 40 odd seizures in 2 days. And apparently if I'd been in Spain or somewhere, I would have died. I was left paralysed like a stroke victim. The only thing I didn't lose was my speech. But I don't know whether that was a good or bad thing. It was, yeah, well, I think it was great. I'm not sure he was so pleased. What made it more traumatic was 9 weeks before my birthday, my brother, who was 3.5 years younger than me, collapsed at 49 with a brain hemorrhage and died. So it was a really traumatic time because I was in a bit of a mess. I had aged parents, so you can see where that was coming from. About 4 years later, I was rushed into hospital yet again with dangerously low potassium levels, where my organs nearly went into shutdown. About a couple of years after that, I was diagnosed with a genetic illness, which is called joint hypermobility syndrome, which is part of the Ehlers-Danlos group. I don't know if you've heard of that, where my joints are unstable. So that's why I walk with a stick. My legs give way. So I've got a load of problems. So the diagnosis of CLL did not come I wasn't too happy about it. So anyway, I'll go back. I'll fill in a bit more about my attitude after that. Going back to the hospital, well, I wasn't too pleased about this diagnosis. I saw this consultant. I thought, okay, he's told me I've got it. But then he proceeded to say, well, actually, I'm only a locum. I thought, great stuff, here we go again. Well, I have a habit of asking a lot of questions, but due to my history, I want to find out a lot of information. I want to get myself really genned up and fully informed. So I was given this Macmillan booklet, which didn't tell me a fat lot anyway. I thought, nah, I want to find out more here. So at my next appointment, which was a few months later, I went back. I said to the nurses doing my blood test, who's on today? She said, oh, we've got another locum for you. I thought, I'm seeing no locum. I want to see somebody. Oh, we've got this person. So I was told it was a consultant. Went to see this lady. Well, in the meantime, I'd done a bit of research. I found the Quality Care Commission report for the hospital. I thought, great. I said, who is the allocated, the specialist nurse? Oh, you only get those when you have treatment. I said, well, according to your Care Commission report, you do this very well. So I could see the look on her face, not too impressed. I then said, will I get a resume of this consultation? Oh, we don't do that. I said, according to your Quality Care Commission report, you do this very well. So I could see the look on her face. Well, by then, I'd started to ask quite a lot of questions because even though my brother had died, he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I was saying, are there any genetic links here? And I'm starting asking other quite pertinent questions. And her face, she couldn't answer questions, and it became quite obvious she didn't really have much clue about CLL. So I left it, went on my way. She said, well, I think we'll see you in 12 months' time. Well, bearing in mind, I'd only had one appointment to check my blood, to tell me I got, and then to tell me I got it. This was about 3 months later, onto yearly appointments. I thought, this isn't sitting well with me at all. So in the meantime, I'd researched this consultant I'd seen to find out she was actually an associate specialist. I thought, I'm not seeing the right person here who's going to know what we're talking about. So I went there in April this year, my yearly appointment. I arrived. I said to the receptionist, which consultant's on today? And she gave me this name of this person. I said, she's not a consultant, is she? Oh, yes, she is, Mrs. Barclay. I said, no, she's an associate specialist. Oh, I think you better talk to the secretary for the consultants. I'll get her for you. So the secretary for the consultants came out. Can I help you? She said, such and such a person's on. I said, she's not a consultant, is she? She said, what do you mean? I said, she's an associate specialist. Well, associate specialists don't exist any longer, I found out. Oh, well, she's the only one on today. Do you not want to see her? I said, well, I would like the results, my blood results, to see where I'm at, please, because I haven't been here for 12 months. I just would like some idea of where things are. Okay, she went. I said, well, who is the consultant? Oh, he's left. Oh, great stuff. Okay. I said, who's that? Oh, we've got a new consultant. It's blah, blah, blah. Oh, fine. When can I see her? Oh, she's just gone on maternity leave. Oh, okay. She'll be back in about 12 months. So I said, well, who is there? Oh, we've got a locum. I said, look, I would like continuity of care. And I don't think seeing a stream of locums is giving me continuity of care and dealing with my condition. I am not happy with this. So I went in to see this person. So she said, get on the scales. I thought, oh, here we go. I said, please don't tell my husband my weight. I said, not good. So she weighed me, I'd lost weight. I didn't mind losing a bit here, there and there. Well, I'd lost quite a few kilograms, actually. So she sat down. What did she do? Said to my husband, your weight was this 12 months ago, it's this now, and you've lost so much weight. Well, why couldn't you just tell him I'd lost weight? You know, patient confidentiality? Forget it. So I then said, well, started asking some more questions. She said, oh, well, here, we give everybody chemotherapy first. Well, alarm bells were ringing even more, because obviously we know if you've got certain deletions, chemotherapy is not the way forward. I don't know what my deletion is at the moment. And I thought, this just is not sitting well with me here. I asked one or two more questions. She was giving me totally the wrong answers, because obviously I've been on Health Unlocked, I've been doing my research, and I thought, this is just not sitting well with me at all. So consequently, I was getting quite upset at this stage, and she just sat and stared at me. No sympathy, nothing at all. She just looked at me as though I've got two heads. And she said, well, I suppose I could find some support group. I thought, I don't want a support group. I just want somebody to be honest with me and give me the answers. And I just walked out in the end. I went to my GP and said, I can't work with this hospital and these people. And I gave her the details. I'm now under Dr. Shu, Hannah Shu, totally different place, different regime. But the reason why I've told you a bit of my background is I am living life to the full. I have my off days like everybody. But I mean this watch and wait, I hate the term, whether it's watch, wait and be willing. I'm doing what I can where I can. I'm travelling where I can. I found a really good insurance, travel insurance that will insure me with all my background, because I'm a liability for most insurance companies. But, you know, you've just got to make the best of it and live life to the full. I mean, when I was taken ill in Holland, I had to be flown back to the UK. I was paralysed like a stroke victim, and that made me think again. And I just think you've got to live life and make the best of it. I mean, in recent years, I've been studying silversmithing. I'm now making silver jewellery. I've got my own hallmark. And I'm just thinking, I've got to do things. And I've got to live for today. And if I can only get that message over to people, you know, life's too short. You don't know what's around the corner. I mean, I nearly died 10 years ago. I've just celebrated the 10th anniversary of recovery from my brain tumour. And I just think, you know, I've got this. I'm going to beat that battle. I'm going to get there. I'm going to do it. You know, you've just got to live life and do it. I mean, I really have some really rubbish days where I can barely walk with this other illness and get out of bed. But when I have a good day, boy, do I make the best of it. So I'm off on another cruise in about 2 weeks' time. So, I mean, this year I've been to Colombia and Costa Rica and Panama. And I'm just living life. And you've got to do it. If you just take that message from me, live life to the full and make the best of each day, you don't know what's there tomorrow.